Hey there, my name's Logan, and I've been building a multiplayer arena movement shooter called Squirrels Gone Nuts for the past 3 years. In this video, I'm going to take you on a journey from when Squirrels Gone Nuts was first born, all the way to the game it is today. To get the full picture, let's rewind the clock back to September 2021. I was walking back from class with my buddy one day, and I pointed at a squirrel and said, "Wouldn't that be fun to run around as one of those guys?" And we kind of just started shooting ideas off of each other and eventually landed on Squirrels Gone Nuts. At first I had plans to make it a 3D FPS, but I knew I was going to propose this for my capstone project, and my professor said that if I could get a working prototype done by the time that the proposal rolled around, he'd allow me to do a 3D version. So the rest of that fall semester, I worked pretty hard and got a prototype that I was proud of. By the time the proposal rolled around, I showed him the prototype and he was impressed, but he thought that it was probably better if I just go with the 2D route because I have more experience with it. And in the end, I think it was probably the best choice given my experience at the time. However, I think a 3D version of this game would have been very cool. The rest of that spring semester, I did a lot of brainstorming on what the movement mechanics would be since I translated the game from 3D to 2D. So then that summer, I got to building out those movement mechanics, and they took a lot longer than I expected. Honestly, I thought I was going to be able to crank out the mechanics in about a month, but it took me until about September to really dial in the movement. I am glad that I took this time though, because it allowed me to really flush out the systems and get the game feel how I wanted it to. The plan after the movement was to get the multiplayer working, and that was easy peasy, just slapped in a library, boom, and off we go. No, I'm totally kidding, that took forever. I totally underestimated it. I'm using Fish Networking as my networking library, and that thing has been a game changer, especially because the Discord community is so active. But on to the next evolution of the game, which is going to be combat. Since it is an arena shooter, I needed to add shooting. So with combat, I spent about 5 months working on it, and I got server authoritative shooting in, I got lag compensation, and client-side prediction, which were all very easy thanks to Fishnet, but it did take a little bit to just understand how things were working. And I got a little distracted working on a side project. The project's called Castify. It's a social podcasting platform. That project is still in development, so if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video on it. Anyways, by this point I got some guns in the game and I was pretty excited to start playtesting with my buddies. So I hosted the first ever Squirrels Gone Nuts playtest, and for my standards, I'd say it was a success. One thing that I noted though is there was no goal or objective to the game. There was really only the primary gameplay loop set, which was just shooting each other. So that summer I got a little antsy and started implementing a rudimentary game mode system. This leads us to September 22nd, 2023, which was the second ever playtest for Squirrels Gone Nuts. Something that was really cool about this playtest is a lot of the feedback was related to weapon balancing, which I took as really good, meaning that the other parts of the game were coming together nice. Also, after this playtest, I wrote out a list which is now known as the ever-expanding list of polish tasks. This is something that's really guided the game feel. These aren't core to the actual game and making sure that everything functions properly, but they just really add that juice to the game. The rest of this past fall, I was pretty focused on my classes I was taking, and I got distracted writing a little more Castify. On the outside, Squirrels Gone Nuts was looking pretty good and I was proud of it, but under the hood, the Unity project was a mess. The build times were taking at least 3 minutes, and every time I opened up the project, it just felt like I needed to sink 3 hours into it just to understand where I was at before. So after that semester wrapped up, instead of doing the smart thing and breaking down the project and rebuilding it, I decided to distract myself again by testing out Godot. Now, this is not a video about where I changed from my entire project of the past year and a half of development into a Godot project, but I just wanted to try it out to see what I was missing. I ended up remaking one of the original games from this YouTube channel, so if you check out episode 1, I think it's the Arcade Zombies episode. And I ended up turning that from a 2D game into a 3D game, so if you want to see that, let me know in the comments because I did record all of it. I could throw together a little devlog. The year is now 2024, and I set one goal for myself this year. Release Squirrels Gone Nuts on Steam. I knew if I wanted to achieve this goal, I'd have to make working on the game fun again. So that means doing a complete rewrite. That whole month of January, I took the game completely apart and rebuilt it from scratch. It was a lot, but in the end, it helped so much. I also did some updated art, and that led to February 2nd, which was the third ever playtest for Squirrels Gone Nuts, and that's what you're seeing behind me right now. This playtest was a huge success. I had 5 or 6 of my friends in there, and we played for literally 3 hours straight. Honestly, it was just a simple free-for-all match, and we were playing the same map over and over, but people were just having a blast, so that was really fun to see as a developer. I mean, obviously, I noted plenty of bugs that came out of that, especially things that I just forgot to handle during the rewrite. Going forward, the month of February was a huge step forward in terms of progress. I found this package called Beamable, and it's been a huge help. They've provided me pretty much with everything I need from a live ops perspective, everything from the lobbies and matchmaking API to the player economy. However, all good things must come to an end. The month of March has probably been the worst month of development in these past 3 years. I ran into a bug that stumped me for over 3 weeks now, and basically I gave up on it and just reverted the project back to a previous build and then built it back up from there. This was definitely difficult because I'm nearing the end of my capstone project and I need just a stable build working, and it was tough just showing up to the project day after day and not being able to make progress on it. Something that was nice though is, with the benefit of hindsight, I knew how to implement the systems that I had already built, and I knew how to implement them in a better way. And that leads us to the present day. Going forward, I have a pretty busy end of the semester, so not a whole bunch of development will be getting done, mainly just solidifying and completing a stable build for my capstone project. So if you're interested in shooting some squirrels with an acorn assault rifle, then go wishlist Squirrels Gone Nuts on Steam. Otherwise, if you're just interested in following development, be sure to subscribe. And I don't know when I'm going to post the next devlog, but